it is of a surgical staff that is prepared to successfully give birth to an entire nation, a deliverer, and 7 assistants. The plowman becomes the orderly that defines the borders, then prepares a sterile field that must not be defiled. Cleansing basins both of water and fire set outside the door. Anyone that would enter from the outside world would be taken through the cleansing process. This mother needs a surgical staff to the birth process because of obstructions that first must be removed. The procedure now begins. Revelations 8:8. And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. This mountain, defined as it were, was a great vehicle, the Greek word for millstone, that moved the son of perdition about. The sword sent him to the basins, and he was completely burned up. This millstone needed to be rolled away from the graveyard entrance because it held captive new life. The blood in the sea was the unsuccessful seed cast into this birthplace by the merchant vessel. Verse 9. And a third part of the creatures which were in the sea that had life, potentially, died, and the bodies of potential resurrection, considered the third part of the ships in Greek, were destroyed. This is a surgical process. The obstructions removed, then cleared out. And this is the second process. The first angel removed all of the diluted, or grass, and 1/3 of the educated, the trees. This second visit is the stars, or priests considered, of the heavens. So this represents the process. Now we can focus in on the picture, because it is of a delivery room. Revelations 12:1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. You see, John here is describing what appears as a woman in a rested position beneath a bright light, reflecting off of and illuminating a birth garment, as her feet are lifted, exposing the birth canal, moon beneath her feet, upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Simply put, the crown is awarded for actions of completion in the number of 12. She is now ready. Verse 2. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. So this then prepares the entrance of a deliverer. Verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. The red dragon in Greek is a fiery fascination. The reference is his process of delivery. Opens eyes wide. There are 2 meanings for dragon under one word. The other is the dragon of old, the serpent. And this was done purposely by drunkards to create these severe conditions faced in this operation room. The need for 7 assists that will embrace 10 actions, or 7 heads and 10 horns, that to this point 7 awards of crowns have been presented. And one of the names I will reveal, because his actions have been prevalent to the course. It is King Nebuchadnezzar, a plowman once paired to Behemoth, that removed by the process of thirds. Notice the pattern. Verse 4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. The sound is not of the tail. The Greek is the thing that wags. It is the tongue. A decree from the king to Behemoth for removals. The plowman directs the ox, creating the sterile field for this birth procedure. When all of the diluted are gone, and 1/3 of the educated were removed. Now the second pass of the plow removes another third. Now priests, because of who they saw cast down like a burning millstone, they recognize him from the surface, saying, "This was the one?" This is the dragon of old. That completes verse 4. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, to devour it as soon as it was born. To devour is to attempt to corrupt this structure. He would like to have you believe the entrance of the Father that removed captives from Abraham's bosom has now returned. This dragon of old has a pattern, and from the beginning it is about half-truths. Verse 5, and she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all of the nations with a rod of iron. True, but not a ruler. The Greek is a measure of men, of all nations, that are corrected by the decipher. An unbreakable pencil. The Greek is rod of iron. Now the lie. This ringing from the sound of the garden. The red dragon is not a god, and is not caught up to his throne, because this kingdom is not of this world. He is the king of the abyss. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.